Hi, this is Martha Baker with Alltech. I'm Global Director of Carbon Markets, and I'm sitting here with my colleague.
I'm Emily Stackhouse, and I am a livestock and sustainability specialist with Alltech.
Emily, I'm so glad that we get to spend a little time together today. With your background, I think a great way for us to start is tell me, what is sustainability in your mind?
Thanks, Martha. I love chatting with you, so it's nice to be here. I know we talk a lot about sustainability, and we talk about the three pillars: the social, environmental, and economic pillars of sustainability. And one thing when we talk about sustainability that we can tie that to is efficiency. And when we think about whole farm efficiency and how that relates to sustainability, that's an important aspect to think about how we can manage our sustainability goals and how we can achieve those through a farm level. And really, we talk a lot about emissions when we think of sustainability. And so when we look at whole farm emissions, we can look at those as either an absolute value, so essentially the total emissions coming from the farm, or we can look at them on an emission intensity value, which is essentially looking at emissions per pound of protein produced. So whether that's beef, we're at the beef conference, so we're going to talk about beef, or whether that's emissions per milk, which is another product that comes from dairies. So we think about emissions a lot when we talk about sustainability and kind of the ways that we can measure those, and thinking about them from a whole farm perspective is an important way to look at it and how we can reduce those in different aspects on the farm. Do you have anything to add about sustainability, Martha, when we think about it?
Yeah, I think I'm number one. I'm really glad that you're talking big picture, and it's more than just absolute reduction. I think in over the recent years, we're very focused on reducing our absolute reductions in methane for many good reasons. But sustainability is more than just that. And I think that we're in a really great place because we are activating both in that intensity realm as well as the absolute reduction realm.
So speaking of kind of intensities and absolute emissions, what are some things that ranchers can do today to look at reducing those?
Yeah, from Alltech's focus right now, we're really looking at several things. Number one, whenever you look at from a grazing perspective and the impact of supplementing those grazing animals with bioplexes and high quality trace minerals and even some potential enzymes, things of that nature, we can really improve that intensity number. So get additional ADG and get a larger animal. The next thing is we're actually working in generating the data necessary to show that we can also play in the absolute space. So an opportunity to really lower that total emission coming from that grazing animal. And we're really more focused on that stocker life stage. And the reason for it, it's not that we don't believe that the cow-calf is important. We actually think that's super important. But to do that data, do that research, do it properly, it's going to take a minimum of 3 years because you have to have those multiple generations. We can affect change fast, and we're really focusing on how can we do that and get it out to the market.
Awesome.
So I actually, if we think about it, what this is going to allow us to do is allow the beef industry to engage in the carbon markets in a different way.
Martha, so you're talking about carbon markets. Can you speak a little bit about what's happening in the dairy space right now and how we might be able to look to the dairy industry essentially as a model for beef in that space of carbon markets?
Yeah, it's really exciting. On the dairy side, there was a carbon project owner that, and it's Concord Agriculture Partners, that has been standing up an enteric project in North America, and a result of that project sent about $835,000 in local currency back to farm gates just this past year. And they're doing that by using agalin, which is one of our feed additives. And it's fairly simple. You feed it, you have to have a defensible evidence of how many animals and proof of purchase, and they're able to create verified emission reductions. That's coming, and the expectation is that it'll be January of 2026 that we will see a very, very similar project in the stocker phase on grazing beef.
That's exciting news.
It is super exciting, and as we have conversations around the importance of lowering emissions and how do we drive the real value of that back to the farm gate. It's the ranchers, it is the dairymen that are actually implementing this, and to be able to find other industry partners that have the same philosophy, that those implementing the technology should get the greatest financial reward is really wonderful. We're super excited about that.
Yeah, very exciting. So what do we see? How can producers prepare, or what would be the next steps to get in line for something like this?
Yeah, I'm super glad you asked. I think one of the big things is learn about the carbon markets and understand some of the nuances. So I think an important thing is to understand if someone's coming to you and they're asking you to sign a long-term contract, and I'll define that as anything beyond 12 months, think hard. Because this is a feed additive. Whenever you're talking about enteric reductions, it is something that you're feeding that you should be able to enter or exit easily. And I'd say let's give us an opportunity to share how does this work and how you can engage. And that's probably one of the most important things, because we are just around the corner from being able to drive value at the farm gate with it.
Yeah. Exciting. That's great. Yeah, information is important, and understanding where your information comes from is also important.
It really is. And, I think that, to put on top of that, as you evaluate potential solutions, is ask yourself, will it drive profitability at your ranch just using it? So I think this is really important when you talk about the signs of a really solid, really high value enteric product, because we believe that sustainability is second to profitability. Profitability drives it. So what we're looking at is potentially driving the profit from a increased ADG, and then having the additional benefit of being able to participate in the carbon.
It all ties together, right? When we think about the whole farm system, everything's related. So increase your efficiency, improve your profitability, decrease your environmental emissions.
Exactly. I think it all ties together so nicely. And, feel free, reach out to your Alltech representative, your RBO representative, your Hubbard representative, and anybody else that's informed. And we are really happy to share the nuances and the details around these programs. While Alltech doesn't own carbon projects, Alltech has no desire to be an aggregator and be engaged that way. We are very engaged from a standpoint of supporting them through education and through connections. So
happy to be an information resource.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, thanks for chatting today, Martha.
My pleasure. It's been great. And heck, hopefully I'll see you here next year.
Sounds great. See you then.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.